Alright folks, welcome back to another video here from Top Comics Pressing. This video we're going to go ahead and kick off a case study on this copy of Batman number 200. I'll let you grab the serial number there. The CGC notes mostly are moderate foxing, and I think that's what has this one. They mentioned some light creasing on the bottom corner, and you can see I think it's mostly just fuzzies on the corner there. You know, it's definitely not a clean corner. It's got some fuzzies and a little bit of a quarter smear, but you should be able to get above a 9.0 if that was your only damage. And then they mentioned a little bit of creasing center right, and you can kind of see it there right on Robin's cape. It looks mostly like a finger bend. I don't see any other creases over there. What's keeping this one down is for sure the just dinge and grossness on the cover and along the spine. And especially if you flip it on over on the back here, you can see that it's just got a lot of gross yellowing pretty much all the way around. And so this one looks to me to be like a pretty good candidate for a Top Comics bump ski. There's a little bit of surface dirt here that needs to get cleaned off, but nothing too insane. And so it's time to go ahead and get cracking, as it were. Get cracking. It's my comic joke of the week. It's not even that original. There we go. Can't say clobber in time. Nobody wants to clobber their comics, so I gotta come up with some other catchphrase. So I think get cracking is a good one. That is pretty Stella. We got a number right there. Should be able to lift the comic out here if we can get around the deal. Slide that one out. Use the case later for a carrying case. This one's got a nice big border on the open edge here, so we're going to pull it on out. I'd always rather go along the spine. That way you can reach in under the spine and pull gently. So we're going to give that a whirl here with my box cutter. Screw it on. So I don't hurt myself with it by accident. I'm going to just go ahead and slice. I know a lot of people were nervous about the scissors, but again, they're rounded on the bottom, so there's no risk to the comic book doing this. It just gives me a little bit of space to get my finger on in so that I can kind of move the plastic back and pull a little bit. Tease the comic right on out. Ta-da! And then there we go. And this says off-white, white pages. Looks like it. I mean, those are okay. You can see a lot of the dinge on the interior cover. So we're not going to be able to fix all of that. It'll still have a little bit. This particular era of early 70s paper definitely has some of that just dinge built into it. It's not as bad as Marvel Spotlight number 5, House of Secrets. Was it 92 is the first Swamp Thing. Those are like my least favorite comics of all time to work with. But this one looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and get some pictures of this beforehand, and then we'll come on back for a quick dry clean. All right, here we are back. This one didn't need a whole lot of dry cleaning. I tried to pay attention when I was taking the pictures, and there was some light schmutz in here I wanted to get. But along the spine, I'm pretty sure most of this is foxing, including by the staple. And so, you know, with as much foxing and just dinge as there is on this book, sometimes it's hard to tell surface dirt from the foxing. But there definitely was some that needed to get fixed up along the back spine here, particularly right in this area. And then we're pretty much just going to do the open edge, and if I need to come back and do a little bit more after the blue LEDs, we can. But I'm almost certain most of what you see here is foxing, not surface dirt. I'm fairly confident, actually, by how flat and smooth this book looks, that it was professionally cleaned and pressed. And so definitely I'm not going to go overboard on the dry clean. And hopefully you've all heard me say on other case study videos, you know, a dry cleaning, it's not 100% sport. You're going to aim for that 95. Now there's a little bit of weird funk over here that looks like it might be a stain or weakened paper. Right next to that tape recorder. And these almost look like they're very, very deep fingerprint right here. And those true grease fingerprints are going to have deteriorated paper around and under them, and so unfortunately you're not going to be able to remove those. Light greasy ones on heavily glossed surface you can get off. This thing to me looks like it is a larger than average human fingerprint right there. So, and there was a little bit of surface dirt on this top edge, but again, it's almost all foxing. So this is going to be a very, very light dry clean. Unlike some of the books I do where it takes a good solid amount of time. But that's going to be about it on this one. I'm going to start off with 3 blue LED treatments. I'm going to use the 1.5% hydrogen peroxide to try to maximize the treatment and the disruption of the foxing without causing undue bleaching and whitening. So we're going to dial that back a little bit. Particularly a book of this era should have some level of creaminess when we're done, and so we do not want a bright white book. So I'm going to try to keep it mild. My gut is a lot of the foxing is going to remain, but you can have light foxing all the way up to a 9.4, and certainly if we can make that moderate foxing into, you know, light or very light foxing, that should help overall with the grade bump, as I think that is the primary grade limiting defect. Again, there is a little bit of crease there. There's a little bit of rounding on the corner. There's a little bit of some other doohickeys at places, but nothing too catastrophic. And so I think overall this one should be good. So we'll wait to see that. It'll look only like a few seconds to you, but it's actually going to take me a couple of days in real time, and so we'll see what it looks like when I'm done. All right, here's our post blue LED look at this Batman number 200. If you look very closely up here at the top edge, you can see that there's some light foxing remaining. There's some light foxing remaining over here, and if we flip it on over, the more intense spots on the back are still there. Now I'm gonna leave that because this to me looks like it's getting quite bright, but you'll notice the interior again still has that natural finish. That discrepancy is normal because the interior pages are touching the inside of the cover, and this is what causes the tanning on here. And so that difference is okay as long as this is not ghost white. And again, if we compare it to some modern paper, again, you can see it's quite a bit creamier, it's tanner, it's not true white, it just looks a heck of a lot more vibrant than it was when it started, and I think it should get a bump. You can have that very light foxing up to a 9.4. I think this one is going to exceed the 9.4 threshold, and it'll probably be a little bit lower than that. But nevertheless, I mean, it started out pretty bad, so we're going here for maybe an 8.5. That's kind of my gut on this. And, you know, a lot of people are also really worried about the hydrogen peroxide eating gloss. And I'm just going to slowly rake this glare across this comic book. You can see that is a nice, healthy, glossy shine there, all the way from Robin's smiling pearly whites to Batman. And you can see it in the purple and the red up above. You can also see it if I flip this on over. You can see that glare nice and sharp across all the yellows and reds as I roll it around. So there's no issues there. This one's going to go into the press now. It's going to get our standard 15-minute press, backer board at center, cardstock under the front and the back cover after hydration. I'm going to cook this one at 155 degrees Fahrenheit, so stay tuned for that. All right, here's one final look at this copy of Batman number 200 that we've worked on. As you can see from the top edge here, comparing it to that backer board, it's definitely not white, but it is quite a bit brighter. You know, there's still very light traces of that foxing if you look very carefully, but hopefully we'll be able to go from a book that was a 7.0 copy up to, I'm hoping, an 8.590, somewhere in that range. I think that that's achievable. You know, there is some light creasing, and again, with the foxing, you can have very light foxing all the way up to a 9.4. And so it, again, it depends on the quantity of the foxing and the severity for how deep the blotches are. And so by overall removing most of it, hopefully we can get a grade bump and still keep it looking natural for a book of its age without overdoing it or over zapping it. So that was kind of the play here. Hopefully this one pays out. This is going to look to you to be mere seconds, but to me it'll be weeks, if not months. So while I'm waiting in anticipation, please click that subscribe button. Take a moment to drop a comment in the comments box, leave a thumbs up for the video, or share it with a friend while you're waiting here for the CGC result. All right, stay tuned. All right, folks. This copy of Batman number 200 we've been working on is now safely back from CGC and into its owner's arms. And the judges at CGC have now deemed this copy an 8.5 copy. Both the 7.0 original and the current 8.5 were off-white white pages, and this particular copy now I think looks a whole heck of a lot better, having mitigated a large percentage of the foxing, given it a solid, loving dry clean, and a really thorough press. It could not look better is probably one of the better Neil Adams covers, and really with the homage to the Golden Age Batman's in the background, and so just a tremendous overall copy. Very hard to find and very high grade with very bright colors, and so this one I think is well worth the effort that we put into it, and I could not be happier for the owner that they got the bump. If you've enjoyed this video and watching the process, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video, drop your comments down below. I did take pictures of this one in detail before and after, so we should be able to post those to both Facebook and Instagram as this video posts. So look for those images there. You can click the little icons in the top corner of the YouTube channel and they should take you right to either Facebook or Instagram. So check that out. And of course, keep on collecting what you enjoy.